Making a classic pinch pot. Figure out the correct amount of clay for your project. .8 to 1 pound of clay works great for a pinch pot. Make a nice ball. Use your thumb to make a nice center hole. Tap your pot on the table to compress the rim. Squeeze with your thumb and forefingers to thin the clay out. Completely wipe out every crack that appears and constantly smooth the surface. Compress the rim. Work to make the thickness uniform. Smooth, compress, and wipe out the cracks. Pay close attention to the rim. Regularly work the pinch pot upside down, taking care of that outer surface. As you smooth, you're thinning it out. Try to keep the hemisphere shape to begin with. You can change the shape later on. This is a really deep crack. The only way to get rid of that is an overlap or deep compression. Let's look at that again. This is a critical flaw. A superficial repair will not work. The repair needs to be deep. It's best to prevent cracks like this. Here we are at 8 times speed, smoothing and thinning. I definitely don't work that fast. There's really no rushing this process. Take care of the rim, take care of cracks. Smoothing and compressing the surface. You can use the table to help you smooth. You can also compress the rim to thicken it if it gets too thin in any areas, or if you want to make it narrower. This is really tricky though. Only do it if you need to do it. I wanted my pinch pot to be a little narrower on the top. The rim takes a lot of work. Work slowly to make it uniform. This clay is still so soft. You can see it wobbling. More smoothing. Really getting the thickness to be uniform. Getting that rim to be nice and smooth and level. Continuing to rub the surface to even out the thickness. It's getting there. More special attention to the rim. Remember to smooth and compress the outside also. The bowl needs to be leather hard before attaching the foot, or it will deform. There are two ways to do this. You can wrap it in newspaper overnight. Put a little newspaper inside the bowl. Take 2 sheets of newspaper and wrap the outside of it. Be warned though, too much newspaper will completely dry your piece out. 2 sheets is plenty. Then seal it completely in a plastic bag with a clothespin. If you don't seal it, your piece will be ruined. The other way to dry your piece to a leather hardness is using a heat gun for a minute or 2. You always use a heat gun on a wear board. Do not use it directly on the butcher block tabletops. Dry the piece a little bit on the inside and a little bit on the outside by flipping it. There's a little divot that I wanted to patch, so I used some of the harder slip that was in my slip container. Remember that your pot is leather hard now and you cannot flex it or it will crack. There are different kinds of feet that you can put on a pinch pot, but here I am showing a classic coil foot. You want to roll it to a good thickness. Something that looks right. That looks too thick. Still want it a little bit thinner. Let's try that. That looks nice. Remember not to cut on the tables. Use a cutting board. Take a scoring tool and score the ends of your foot. Add a little bit of slip. A banding wheel can help you center the foot. Use a needle tool to mark the edges. Now you know where to score. Score the area that will be joined. And score the foot as well. Apply a generous amount of slip. Slip is more like hot glue. You want it to squeeze out the edges when you push it on. You can use a scoring tool or a brush to apply the slip. Make sure the foot is level and push it on firmly. Use a bristle brush to smooth out the excess slip. Don't forget to put your initials / period number on the bottom of your piece.